the entire amount of money I spend on a monthly basis is less than my rent for my house in Colorado Springs, you know? And my quality of life is, 10 times better. I'm not working 6 days a week, 10, 12-hour days. I can go work 10, 12-hour day, get off at 8 o'clock, come home, eat, shower, change, start a little laundry, do something, hopefully get 5, 6 hours of sleep, you know?
Mhm.
And it's just it's just a grind and it shit wears on you after a while.
Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining me. So for my first expat interview, I'm going to be interviewing expats throughout Southeast Asia, learn about the country firsthand, their experience, things like that. For my first expat interview, I literally stumbled and struck gold. I just happened to see through Facebook an old army buddy. Um, we were in the army 19 years ago. He just relocated to Da Nang, Vietnam. He's doing the expat life. Um, Cut all ties, so we're gonna go through his process and everything, but especially for somebody like me, not in Southeast Asia yet, still a long time from the decision should I go or stay. Um, Having somebody that I can trust, we were in combat together. Um, this is the real deal. This is everything that I could ask for in terms of need to know thinking about moving to Da Nang, Vietnam. So everything that you need to know coming up here. So stay tuned. How you been?
Yeah. What's good? Dude, I'm living the life right now. I'm good.
Yeah, I've been seeing your your stories and stuff like that. Looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking good over here, dude. I can't complain at all.
So when did
So,
when did you move actually?
beginning of September, I quit my job the 1st of September. And then, yeah, I took off on like the 16th and moved over here. So, yeah, that's about it. But I've been researching this shit for like probably 3 years. Like, it started off once, it was just like, where could you retire? Like, I was 90%. So it was like, where could I live, retire cheap and this and that. And like, was looking at different places in Mexico and South America. And like, I spent some time in Bogota, loved Colombia, but it just didn't really feel the safest all the time. And um, I wanted to be next to the beach at the end of the day. And Bogota's in the middle of the Andes Mountains.
Hmm.
So, I mean, it's a short flight to the beach, but I like being like 10 minutes to the beach. And then I kept seeing, I'd been to, when I was in Korea, I took a fucking 4 day weekend and I just left and didn't tell nobody and went to Thailand. I did a weather pass. I'm going whether I get caught or not type of thing.
Yeah.
And I just filled out a leave form and fucking Captain Crunch was my commander, and like I just fucking went and I loved fucking Thailand. So I thought I'd go back to Thailand and then everybody was had the same idea and Thailand got super expensive. And then I was just kind of looking at other places. I was considering the Philippines and all this stuff, and then Vietnam came up, and yeah, I did all this research and decided that Vietnam was the spot. Um, and then I connected with that Evan A guy. I sent you his YouTube.
Hmm.
Me and him, he's a cool dude. Me and him are actually pretty good friends now. We text and hang out and everything weekly. Um, but I watched a bunch of his videos. He puts out a lot of really good content. Um, he's very like no bullshit. Like, can you live here on $1,000? Absolutely, but you're just like you're living. You're not like living. You know, I'm like you're surviving, but you're not living, right? But dude, it's I did my budget the other day and it's so fucking stupid, dude. Like, um, here, I'll show you. This is my apartment. How do I flip this? Oh, here we go. So, um, it's one bedroom, kitchen. Uh, there's also I've got a it's a two bathroom, so washer and toilet, and then um, yeah, that's it. Just a it's like a half bath right there. Um, TV, couch, then balcony with a fucking view.
Nice.
Stopped
What
raining.
what area of Da Nang are you in?
So that over there is the beach area.
Uh-huh.
Antung is like the big tourist area. I didn't want to stay there because of there's just nothing but tons of bars and partying, and I don't drink anymore. So I stopped drinking a week ago, and I'm like just going hard on the gym. But I just didn't want to be if I stayed over there, I knew I'd get fucking lonely and bored and be in a bar. I didn't
Right.
want that. So um and then bedroom, king bed and another view and got a like a wardrobe area and then another bathroom shower.
Nice.
But this is a yeah, it's a nice spot. And this is whoa, I didn't mean to do that. The conversion comes out to right at like $600 a month.
Nice.
So it's not bad. And like utilities, everything. I prepaid my internet. I prepaid it for 3 months at a time, and it's like I think it came out to like $30 total for 3 months. You know, it's super fucking cheap, 30 or 40 bucks for 3 months. Um, I got a SIM card for my phone. I got it today because I was just using eSIMs from like the Airlo apps, and they're fucking trash, dude. I was like going everywhere and like having to like connect to Wi-Fi and like all this stuff. I finally went to Viatel, which is like a local provider, kind of like a Verizon, and I get 10 gigs of 5G data a day, and it came out to being like $11 a month. So fucking but yeah, so like the rent and utilities, internet, cell phone, you're looking $700 a month for all of that. I rented a motorbike. It's like it was like 65 bucks. I'll probably spend maybe $20 a month in fuel. Um I've basically like I'm 100%, so it's like just under 4,200 a month. And I said, Absolutely, no matter what, aside from travel and like other bullshit, my living expenses here will not go over 2 grand a month. Like, so whenever I get paid, there's 2 grand in checking, everything else goes into savings and I don't touch it. And without drinking, like, dude, that basically means I've got what, $1,200, $1,300, $1,200 a month in food, which is outrageous. Like, there's no way you're spending that. Even if you did like $15 for 30 days, that's 450 a month, right?
Hmm.
Like that's not, and that's eating out 4 meals a day, and includes a coffee and then maybe a couple beers at the bar, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you can't beat that. Worst case scenario, you do, your daily budget on food and drinks and whatever is $20, you're at $600 a month. So with my budget right now at $800, that's I'm at $1,400 a month, you know?
Yeah.
Grab is the same thing as Uber in the States. It's for Asia. And so you can do that for cars, to get around, but also they have Grab Eats, just like Uber Eats, right?
Hmm.
And when I got back, I ordered like 4 meals, like from just on there, like some chicken and rice and stuff like that. And it ended up being like for 4 meals, like $11 and some change. So it's like $3 a meal, you know? So if you're eating 4 meals a day, you're looking at $11 a day. So, you do the math is, what, $400 a month, right? Um, Other things you might spend money on would be like the coffee here is fucking phenomenal, dude. Like, and the most I've ever seen a cup of coffee was 60K, which is like, what is that? Like 250. And it's a big fucking cup of coffee. A lot of times you can get it for 30 to 45K. So a dollar 50, something like that. Um, Banh mi's are the like baguette sandwiches, kind of like a foot long sub almost.
Hmm.
Um, and you can get those for as cheap as 20K, as much as 60K. So like $1 to $2, and you get a little, I guess, a solid sandwich and shit. So I mean, you can eat really fucking good, but you can also spend a lot of fucking money here too. Um, like Korean barbecue is fucking phenomenal here, and you could easily spend 800K to 1 million, which is like 25 to 35 bucks for a meal, for that. Um, there's a bunch of like, um beach bars and, beach clubs and stuff, and their prices are a lot more expensive than like in the town. But it's it's all the tourist pricing, right? But but we're talking like you're spending $2 for a beer, 250 a beer, which is still dirt cheap compared to Western standards.
Right.
But if you want to drink beer super cheap, you can go into the convenience store and you can buy them by the can, and they're like 15K, which is like 47, maybe 50 cents a beer. Everything's cheap as fuck here, though, dude. It's insane. Um, I spent that week in, the Philippines. Flights and hotels, I probably spent $1,000. Like, it was stupid how fucking expensive it was. And then I probably spent another 800 dollars on food and drinking. And that's why I was just like, I knew when I came back I was gonna go sober, and I'm starting the 75 hard. I started that today. So I knew that was gonna happen. But dude, I probably spent 2 grand in a fucking week in the Philippines. It was fucking and that place is a shithole too. Like,
Where in the Philippines all did
so
you go?
I was in Cebu. That was like one of the spots where everybody's like, expats love it there. If you're there, if you all you want is like sex tourism, that's a great place to go. Like, everywhere I turned, like poverty is so like terrible there. They're like, you go in for a massage and then they're like, you want hand job? And it's like, no, I don't. I just want a fucking massage, I didn't enjoy the Philippines at all. Like, there's other places in the Philippines I want to go travel to, but Cebu in general was not. Once I was there, I was like, I even told a couple of my buddies that were here, I was like, we don't realize how good we got it, because not only is it way cheaper than the Philippines, the infrastructure is better, the internet is better, service, just overall, like the condition of the streets, the sidewalks, like everything, it's cleaner. Like, the city pays people to like, you'll see them like after like it's been raining all day. As soon as it stops raining, you go out there and walk the river, and there's like city workers out there sweeping. all the leaves up off the sidewalks to make everything look clean and presentable, and like it's not a trashy place by any means. So it's definitely a good spot. The only downside is if you there's two things that people complain about, and one is if you're in Antung, which is the tourist area, there's construction like crazy over there. That place is blowing up. So there's a lot of construction, so construction noise and stuff like that. But they are limited to hours of operation. So it's like I think it's like 8 in the morning to like 5 at night. And then after that, like it's quiet time. They don't do anything. Um, and then the other thing, well, besides the language, the barrier, which I don't give a fuck about it, dude. Like that's what Google translates for. Like honestly, I don't care. Is you get it's a 90-day visa. So so there's only four visas in Vietnam right now. There's the tourist visa, which it's $25 for single entry, meaning it's your visa is good for either 90 days or till if you leave the country. Once you leave, it's done. Or you can do multiple entry for $50. So if you plan to do some traveling out of the country within that 90 days, it's cheaper just to do that. You don't have to worry about the hassle. Um, so the tourist visa, there's a marriage visa. So if you obviously you marry a local, a business visa. So if you invest X amount of dollars into a business, and then there's a student visa. Um, those are the only visas they have. There's talks of them coming out with like a digital nomad, DTV, retiree visa, all this stuff, but nothing's been finalized or any of that stuff yet. So and it could be another year or so before any of that happens. So, like the downside, but not really a downside, is every 90 days at a minimum, you have to leave the country. But like, aside from the Philippines, everywhere else to travel is cheap as shit. You can get a round trip ticket to Bangkok for $80. You could fly round trip to Bali for 250 bucks, and then from here, here to Ho Chi Minh to Bali, yeah, for 250 bucks, like that ain't shit.
Yeah.
So, um, but yeah, so every 90 days you gotta travel, you gotta go somewhere. But other than that, I mean, big fucking deal. I don't honestly, I don't really see myself. I've been to Thailand, I've been to the Philippines, obviously I've been to Korea. I know Japan is fucking outrageously expensive. There's nothing about China that excites me that makes me want to go to China. Um, Taiwan is fucking expensive too. So it's like in Southeast Asia, like I don't think it gets much better than Vietnam, honestly. Um, and on top of that, like the landscape in Vietnam is so vast. Like the cool thing about Da Nang is you have the beach, but then you've got the mountains a short, like right here as well, too. So you got to get best of both worlds there. Um, Hanoi is, a short flight up north, like an hour flight, hour and a half flight to Hanoi from here. So you've got Halong Bay, and there's a bunch of cool places around there. If you are tired of the heat and you want to get out of it, there's a town called Dalat. It's like out in the mountains, so it's a lot cooler and shit. There's Ho Chi Minh, and then there's like all the beach places. There's the island called Phu Quoc and Con Dao are super pretty beaches and stuff. Phu Quoc just got voted like the number two like island in Southeast Asia or some shit like that, like or something crazy. So, but there's so many fucking really cool places. I mean, you could literally travel to a different place every month. Um, for 2 years, and you wouldn't see all everything that Vietnam has to offer. But I live across the river, basically it's called Hai Chow, which is like the district, um, over here, which is more of your locals live over here. And I just chose that because I didn't want to be right next to all the expat bars and the party scene. Um, the whole point of me coming over here was to slow down, relax, but also focus on my health, my mental health, my physical health. Like, just be like, go from like working 6 days a week at the dealership and doing that shit to like my job is now it's the gym. Like, that's how I see it. Like, I literally go to the gym twice a day now. Like, I get up early and I go to my apartment gym here and change. I go out there. I walk like 30 minutes down the river. Um, there's a super cool coffee shop. I go grab a coffee, walk back, so I get an hour of cardio in. Um, I eat some, or and, maybe I'll stay there and grab some breakfast or grab a banh mi for breakfast. Or I mean, it's very rare to find traditional breakfast like we have in the States.
Hmm.
You're gonna have to go to the expat area to get, and they call it English breakfast. So it's like eggs, bacon, hash browns, pancakes, stuff like that. You won't find that over here where I'm at. Over here for breakfast, they eat pho, banh mi's, like it, you know, chicken and rice, like with eggs, like I all the time. So I'll grab breakfast. Um, Sometimes I'll go out and I'll go meet some guys, and like Monday mornings we meet up at this expat bar to watch Sunday night football. So I'll get up early, do the gym at least, and then shower, change, and go to the expat bar. And when I'm there, I'll have breakfast there, a coffee and everything. Um, and then, make my way back, eat lunch, and then I go to a different gym to actually lift because it has a lot more equipment than my apartment gym. Um, and then after I lift, it's like I eat something and then do whatever the fuck I want, go to the beach, go fucking, whatever, billiards, like playing pool is really popular out here. Um, but like beach clubs are where it's at. Um, they're fucking cool because it's like there's a pool, there's a bar, it's right next to the beach as well. So it's like if you don't want to be in the ocean, you can be in the pool. So um right now it sucks because it's been raining. There's not a big mall here or anything. But there are places to go like watch movies and they're in English and shit too. So, but there's plenty to fucking do here, that's for sure.
So, so you stayed in the army for how long after
I stayed in for 11 total.
11?
Yeah.
And what'd you do? Like, at one point I saw that you like had a nutrition store. Um,
Yeah, when I first got out, I was running, and then I actually bought in and opened up my own a sports nutrition supplement store.
and what else did you do? Like, I mean, it's been like
Uh, I did that, and then
18 years since we hung out.
yeah, yeah. So I did that, and then relocated to Colorado with that, and then I got into the car business and I just sold cars, and then got into management and was a sales manager, and so I did that, and I was just working 6 days a week, fucking 10 to 12 hour days.
Mhm.
But Colorado was just so fucking expensive, like I had to.
You said you've been thinking about doing this for like 3 years. What
Hmm.
what kind of prompted that thought process? Was it just like you came across something on YouTube or
Um, Honestly, it was my divorce. So, my ex-wife decided to leave me like 2 weeks after I buried my mom, and so after that, I was just like, man, I'm out of here, bro. Um, I didn't, what I'm saying, like my buddy was telling me, he's just like, dude, you got no ties, no kids. He's like, take your disability and go fucking live your life. So that's that was the plan, and that's what I wanted to do. it was just, it was like ma thinking I needed to have X amount of money saved up and all this, and man, you don't. Like, I came over here with 4 grand in the bank, and that's it. And then I got my money, it comes every month, and I save over half of it, and I just build my savings, and just, like, you don't you don't really have to worry about, like, money at all, but if you're reckless, you can spend a lot of money, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, um, it's, dude, it's a good life over here, bro, honestly. It took a little bit of adjustment from going from working, 6 days a week, 12-hour days, and just go, go, go to, like, it's like, "What do I do?" type of thing, right?
Hmm.
But after I kinda, like, slowed down and, like, got used to it, it's like, it's good, you know? Um, I think the main thing for me is everybody was like, "Well, what's your plan for the next couple months?" Or "Are you gonna work? Are you gonna go to school? Or are you gonna do," and it's like, my plan is not to do shit. Like, for the rest of this year, I just wanna focus on me, my mental health, my physical health, try to get in the best physical shape I can. Um, and then maybe after the beginning of the year, I might enroll in the university in, like, a language course. That also gets me my student visa, so I think it's a 1-year multiple entry visa, so I don't have to worry about stuff. But, like, I just wanna take a couple months and just transition from, I exited the matrix, I left, I was done. So, I just needed time. I just want time to myself to get acclimated, get adjusted, learn the city, I finally got to where I can drive around without using Google Maps, and, like, I can make it back to my apartment. I can get across the river to the expat bars or to the beach, or, I can get down to the Lotte Mart, which is like a supermarket type thing, Um, so, like, I'm starting to figure stuff out, and then I just start taking back roads and just figuring stuff out and finding different restaurants or areas that have stuff. And so that's all I want to do is just explore and learn the city really well.
Hmm.
But also make travel a little bit, and just take time to myself and just, like, decompress from all the stress of America,
Western life.
So yeah, and it's like, once you get a taste of it, dude, people always ask me, like, when are you gonna go back? I'm like, I don't ever plan to go back. Like, after, like, and I've only been here, I haven't even been, well, I've been here like right about a month. I've left. And it's like, after you get a taste of it, it's like, you don't want to go back. Why? You know, like, the entire amount of money I spend on a monthly basis is less than my rent for my house in Colorado Springs, you know, and my quality of life is, 10 times better. I'm not working 6 days a week, 10, 12-hour days, you know. But when I was back in the States, I was waking up at 3:30 in the morning to leave the house by 4 so I can make it to the gym by 4:20, 4:30, work out for 2 hours, go home, shower, change, and then go work 10, 12-hour day, get off at 8 o'clock, come home, eat, shower, change, start a little laundry, do something, hopefully get 5, 6 hours of sleep, you know,
Hmm.
and it's just it's just a grind, and it shit wears on you after a while, and there's some days it's like, aside from the gym, if I don't want to do anything, I don't have to do anything. If I just want to go to a beach club and sit on a chair or a lounge chair and just, like, chill and, have a beer or whatever and just relax, listen to some music, that's what you do. there's a DJ playing some good chill tunes, and just it's just a vibe, Like this whole place is just it's good energy. And I will say that like Vietnam has restored my faith in humanity. Like like people in America are just I mean, they're just everybody's got to stick up their ass. Nobody wants to help anybody, do anything nice. Everybody's like so angry, and you know what I'm saying? You get out here and just people are so nice. They'll do anything for you. They'll like you're lost, so you need help. They'll stop everything they're doing, tell you where to go. If you're looking for something, they'll put they'll stop shopping for themselves and help you out. You know what I'm saying? It's just like um people are just generally like super nice here. I mean, I haven't experienced any type of like ugliness with people that you see like back in the States and I would see that on a regular basis in Colorado Springs. So it's just it's a good vibe here, dude. It's good energy. It's a beautiful place, and I mean, everybody kept asking me why Vietnam. They thought, that all the ignorant people say, "Oh, watch out for the lady boys," and like, that America has more trans people than any other country in the world. Like, I don't have to, I don't have to watch out for anything.
Hmm.
Um, but then they're like, "Oh, Vietnam is like it's a communist country and this and that," and like, honestly, it's a great thing. It's a communist country because that just means the government controls the price of goods and certain services. So, like, the cost of energy, water, and food can only has to be within a certain range. So, in the States, like something can be would literally be worth 50 cents, but if they know you're gonna pay $7 for it, that's what they charge, right? Like a cup of coffee. Like coffee shops in America, dude, they're making all the fucking money, dude. On average, it costs a coffee shop maybe 25, 30 cents for a cup of coffee, and they're selling on average what black drip coffee is still like $3 a cup. You know what I'm saying? And then anything, so they know that you're gonna pay it. So here it's not, no. If I left the gym one time and I was walking down the street and saw a lady with a fruit cart. And I was like, let me get some fruit juice. I was like, I want a watermelon juice. She took a half a watermelon, cut it up, blended it with some ice, and it was like 22 ounces, like 20-ounce cup, like a big cup of like, it was just ice and pureed watermelon. And it was 12,000 Vietnamese dong. It's like 37 cents, you know? It's like, it's just
And you buy
I
a
don't know, man.
watermelon,
Like,
you buy a watermelon in Walmart or something like that, and it's going to cost you 5, 6 bucks just for the watermelon.
yeah, if you're lucky, you get it for that. And so, but yeah, and everybody's got little fruit carts or coffee stands or banh mi carts, and it's like the food here is, and it's so when I got here after like 2 or 3 weeks, um, oh, you saw that transformation photo I posted,
Yeah, I did.
right?
Can I
Yeah,
share that?
like yeah, I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. But like I didn't look that good before I left the States. I was like my gut was inflamed, my abs didn't pop like that at all. And then I get over here and even with drinking, like in the I'm not gonna lie, the first 2 or 3 weeks I was here, the first couple weeks I was here, I probably had at least 2 beers a day, you know. I wasn't like I never got like wasted to where I was like binge drinking, but like I go to a beach bar and like have a beer, sit on, whatever, right?
Hmm.
But even with drinking a couple beers a day, but because the food I was eating was so clean, no preservatives, no chemicals. I mean, it's basically all organic. Um, like my inflammation in my gut like disappeared. Like I think I lost almost 2 kilos, or like it was like 7 or 8 pounds. Like I mean, it was insane, you know? So, um, just the food here in general is so much cleaner and healthier. And then you can find your fatty, fried, shitty food, like
Yeah.
there's plenty of Western foods and stuff. But if you're eating Korean or not Korean, but Vietnamese food, dude, this shit's is so healthy. Even like the noodles, you're eating a lot of noodle. The noodles aren't enriched with all this crap like it is in the States. So it's just so much healthier. Um, the food is just it's so much cleaner, so much healthier. It tastes amazing, but it's super cheap. It's just it's a lifestyle out here, man. It's just um, the other places, like the other big cities, they're big cities. Da Nang is it's like beach town luxury. They jokingly call it like the Miami of Asia, and like, dude, every hotel's got a rooftop bar. There's over 30 different rooftop bars around here. They all got gorgeous views. Some of them will have DJs and infinity pools, and I mean, yeah, there's so much cool shit to do that you can't ever get bored, you know? If you get bored out here, that's your own fault, you know?
Yeah. So what about like I know you've been there about a month now, um, and it doesn't sound like you have anything bad to say, but I guess what if you had like, any
Yeah.
negative or any like what's the biggest adjustment maybe, culture shock or anything like that that you've kind of experienced so far?
Um the I mean, I heard about it through a bunch of YouTube videos and stuff, but the way they drive out here will blow your mind. Like it reminds me of like Mario Kart. You just get in where you fit in type of thing. There's like they are pretty strict about you don't run red lights. You can get fined pretty heavily for doing that if you get caught. But and everybody they made it a law about wearing a helmet. Everybody has to wear a helmet, um, which is good. But other than that, like, there's no speed limit. Like, you go as fast or as slow as you want. Nobody cares. Weaving in and out of traffic. Um, like back in the States, everybody uses the horn if you're pissed off, you know? Over here, the horn is like a "Hey, I'm here" type of thing. Like, it's used as a tool just to be like, "Hey, I'm next to you," or whatever type of thing. So people don't get pissed off when you use the horn. Um, but I think the driving thing was the biggest, adjustment. But I've ridden motorcycles a bunch when I was in the Army, and so I knew how to ride, so I wasn't worried about it, but learning that it's just I didn't get on a motorbike for the first week. I just took the grabs and just observed, like, the traffic etiquette, like, what's acceptable, what's not, like, and then it's just like, you I did that, and I'm like, "Alright, this is how it is, like, cool, let's do it," and, um, riding a motorbike out here, it's spicy at times, but it's the most freeing, like, the best feeling too, like, there's so many back roads that go to the mountains that you can go, um, just cruise, like, windy, curvy roads right next to the ocean and stuff, or up into the mountains and stuff, and there's one that leads if you look on my Instagram, there's pictures, I went up to see the Lady Buddha, big big, massive, like, sanctuary, whatever thing,
Hmm.
um, cruising up there, and there's, like, monkeys running across the road and stuff, like, it's just the I would say the only culture shock I really had that I wasn't fully prepared for was the way they drive, but it's a quick adjustment. I wasn't worried about language, like, in the Army, we've traveled to places that don't speak English, and you have to just you figure it out, and a lot of the basic training stuff that we get, in the military makes you extremely resilient, um, so coming to a new country and, um, it's not a big deal, like
Right.
you you if you ever had to go to South Korea, like this is nothing, So um, language isn't a big deal, honestly. You'd be surprised how many people speak basic English. Um, Restaurants, there's pictures for everything. Um, every now and then I have to pull out my Google Translate because you can take pictures and translate it from like Vietnamese to English. And
Yeah.
so, like, I had to do it today because I wanted to buy some soy sauce to keep here, you know, and I didn't know if what I was looking at was soy sauce or fish sauce or oyster sauce or whatever.
Hmm.
So I pulled it out and looked at it, like, okay, this is soy sauce, type of thing. But other than that, most people speak English. The younger generation, a lot of them speak English. It's actually pushed pretty heavily in the school system now. Um, older, a lot of the older people are not going to speak a lot of English unless they're working in the tourist area and they're dealing with a lot of expats and tourism. Then they'll know some English, but the the language barrier isn't an issue for me at all. I've never saw it as an issue. Um, I had a full on conversation with my Grab driver when I first got here. He's taking me to my hotel just off of Google Translate. And he like literally the nicest guy. And he like I took a picture of his phone and he was just basically he's like on behalf of the people of Vietnam, I want to welcome you to our city. I hope you enjoy it here. Like he was just like super friendly and like that was my first experience interaction with somebody. He was just so friendly and so nice and like I've never had anything less than that since then. So it's a good time, dude. So I'll be excited for you to come out here and check it out. Whether you just come out first for like a recon trip for a couple weeks, or whether you just do what I do and say fuck it and commit.
So I've heard that it's like very safe in terms of like crime and things like that. Have you had any
Yeah.
experience with anything?
No. I mean, I've had a couple late nights out, like partying with some of the guys, like shooting pool till midnight, 1 o'clock, and you see people drunk walking around. There's um the only crime I've heard of was been like it's been like tourists and expats here that like ran out of money and like robbing jewelry stores or dumb shit. But as far as like the local people here, and the Vietnamese, no. I haven't experienced anything, and I mean, I've never really had an issue with that, and I think my size and stature kind of like plays a part of that. But I've actually heard one of the YouTubers I know out here, I've met him a few times. He was saying even if like his girlfriend needed to get money out of the ATM at 2 in the morning, he wouldn't have a problem letting her go by herself at 2 in the morning to the ATM and get money because the place is it's safe. Um, he's like, or if she wanted to go down to the convenience store to get something to drink or a snack or something, like he would let her go by herself all day long just because this place is super safe. So you, I imagine there's still some petty thefts, or something like that, but nothing like you here in the States, like sexual assault or anything like that. Um, my buddy told me, he said, as long as you don't, there's a couple things if you don't do, you basically can do whatever you want here. Like he said, don't ever put hands on another like a Vietnamese local. Like it doesn't matter if they hit you or they attack you. If you put hands on them, like you're in the wrong, right? Not them. So as long as you don't, attack a local, you don't kill anybody or fucking rape anybody, sexual assault somebody, like you basically can do whatever you want around here. But they're smart enough to know that like all the tourism is the amount of money that is being brought into the country and into the city from the tourism. Like they're just like, "Well, whatever, as long as you don't do anything major, go have your fun and spend your money here. So It's chill though. So,
Is there any, or have you even like heard of like any anti-Americanism or anything? Because I mean, it's barely been like 50 years, maybe a little more since the Vietnam War and things like that. Any,
nope,
nothing.
no. I mean, I don't go around like bragging that I'm a soldier. I used to be in the army. I
Hmm.
don't. But I think that's also like something we're trained is, like the OPSEC type shit. Like you don't just tell everybody everything about you. But like if somebody asks me like if I'm at a bar and I'm talking to someone and they're like, what do you do? I'm retired military. They're like, oh, that's cool. They don't care. That's it. You know. Um, my landlord told them they're like, all right, cool. Like they literally said, thank you for your service. You know, like, but I've never experienced any type of like ill will or discomfort or disgust because I'm an American or anything like that. It's kind of the opposite. Like they welcome you because they want to talk to you. They want to utilize like language exchange. Kids are constantly running up and talking to me. I'm in coffee shops. People want to talk to you. Where are you from? I say I'm America. Oh wow, where at? I just came here from Colorado. Like oh, they have a conversation, but it's more they're curious, but also I think it's for them to utilize like language exchange and like converse so that they can better their language with English and stuff. So yeah, um, I've never experienced any type of hate or nothing. Like honestly, I haven't experienced anything bad since I've been here. Like I guess you would say I'm like in the honeymoon phase of living here.
Yeah,
Everything seems cool and awesome, right? But even like putting that to the side and like thinking about looking at everything from the outside looking in, like I don't really see any negatives to being here. Like honestly, if you can accept certain things for what they are, language, traffic, there's construction, like, basic stuff like this, like it's not bad at all. Like I don't have anything bad to really say about the place. Um, sometimes it's hard to find good places to eat because it's like I want to eat local, but and that's why I want to go to school and learn the languages because not necessarily to talk, but to be able to read so I know what the signs are. So unless I see them out there cooking or I see people eating or there's pictures, I don't really know what some of that stuff is.
yeah,
Um, so a lot of times it's just when it comes to food places, I'm just like, that place looks cool. Let me just stop in, look at the menu. And like you can just sit down and look at the menu and you don't want anything, get up and leave. They don't care, you know. But I would always order something just out of respect. Whether it's even if it's just like spring rolls or something, right? Like so, but yeah, I mean, that's the main reason I think I want to go to the language school is just so I can read Vietnamese, if nothing else. I talked to one guy who did it. He'd been in this school for like 6 months, and he's like, I can say certain words, but I can understand more than I can speak, and I can read it really well. And it's like that's all I need. If I can read it and I can understand, what I'm seeing, then I have a lot better grounded sense of where I'm at, what I'm doing, what's going on around me, type of thing. So that's why I committed to a year here. I did a 1 year lease, um, fully committed to like. Also, I know that like that's how you negotiate the cheapest rent is if you're going to stay long term. So, but also it's like in the big grand scheme of things, the first 3 to 4 months, honeymoon phase, everything's awesome. You love it all. And then the real, like, even in like a relationship, right? After like the third or fourth month, you, if they were love bombing you, you're gonna find out because you can only be fake for so long. So you're gonna find out the real side of somebody. So it's like after by the end of the year, end of this year, I'm gonna know, is this place what it was when I first got here, or now I'm seeing things for really what they are, right? But also, it's like if I do want to stay here long term, or this is somewhere I think I need to give it a real chance. I can't just hang out for a month and then be like, all right, it wasn't for me, or it was, or what. Um, but also, I came right at the beginning of the rainy season, and so that's when rent drops, the price of everything drops. So the idea was if I do stay here long term, well, I don't want my lease to end in 6 months at the peak of the high season because they're not going to give me the same rental rate because they know that they can kick me out and rent the place for $2, $3 million or Vietnamese dong more and make more money. So I would rather lock it in at a low rate and then my lease is up. If I love the place, I want to stay here, I recommit and then I lock in at the same rate,
Hmm.
or tell them I'll stay and negotiate to where I can keep the rate, right? Um, but if it's not what I want, or say I say, you know what, I want to go to a house, or actually I want to find a there's a new apartment complex that just got built. They've got oceanfront condos. I want to go live there. Then now I'm gonna go do that during the rainy season when the rates are low. So I'm constantly signing a lease, whether it's staying in my current place or getting a new place when it's low season and the rates are even lower. Like if you look on like Agoda or like Agoda is really popular out here. It's kind of like a Travelocity thing.
Hmm.
Um, but um, you can find really nice places for $11 to $15 a night in a hotel, right? When I first came out here, 4 nights in this hotel, my I with tax and everything was like $56 for 4 nights. Like it's insane. But in the high season, it's like 4 times that much. It goes from like $11 to like 42 or $44 a night because it's the high season, right? The high influx of tourism. So they can charge more, right? So there's perks to it, and but that's why I locked in for a year just because like um, I'm gonna give it a full year, and if I through my travels throughout the year, if I find another place I like better, then cool. When my lease is up, there's nothing keeping me here. I'll just go somewhere else. So maybe it's Thailand.
Hmm.
Maybe it's Bali or Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia or something, right? Like those are places I want to check out. Um, Maybe that's where I go. I don't know. We'll see. But for the foreseeable future, for at least, the next, 10 and a half, 11 months, like I'm living in Da Nang, you know? Yeah, dude. I'm happy as hell. I kicked myself that I should have just done this sooner, you know? But um if I would have done it sooner, I probably wouldn't have been ready mentally or whatever. I needed to get to that place of like I'm just no regrets. Fuck this place. I'm out of here.
Hmm.
Mexico is overpriced, and there's fighting. There's the cartel shit. Costa Rica is way overpriced. I met a vet that him and his buddy were both paying $1,400 a month, and they shared a two-bedroom apartment. So their two-bedroom apartment in Costa Rica was $2,800 a month. It's like, that's insane, and that was
Yeah.
Costa Rica, right? Costa Rica is expensive. Like other places are super cool, but if you're not making a shit ton of money, then it's not affordable. You're not going to live a higher quality of life. And that was the whole point of coming out here was like increase my quality of life um, without increasing what I'm spending. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to save at a minimum, you know, $1,500 a month out of my disability. And if I spend 2 grand a month, I'm saving $2,200 a month, you know?
That's
You definitely
a
need to come out here.
What about banking? I mean, how do you handle like the finances? Because I'm sure your direct deposit goes to like a US or
Yep. So
some US connection.
yeah, so I'm at 2 banks. I bank with Chase and with Charles Schwab. So um everything is deposited in the Chase. Chase offers free ATM fees, international fees. So does Charles Schwab. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, I go to the ATM with my Chase debit card and pull money out. This place is mainly a cash country. Cash is king out here. Some of the nicer restaurants or stores or something, they might take a debit card, but for the most part, it's pretty much cash. So you just go take out some cash and like you're good, you know. Um, like when I moved over here, I brought like 4 grand in cash. And then I just exchanged it on the local market. So I got a better exchange rate. And that's how I paid my rent and my deposit. And so when I prepay my rent every three months at a time. So um, the month before I'll start pulling a little bit of cash out. Um, and then I'll just have it here, and then when rent's due, I'll just pay my rent in cash, and we're good to go. You know, everything's cash though, but um, to get banking stuff here and having a Vietnamese bank and stuff, you do have to have some type of residency. Yeah, I just pay everything with cash, honestly. Um, the nice thing is then I also um, know exactly what I have, but yeah, I don't get into the banking stuff. I don't want to deal with a bank in another country and like I don't want to deal with all that. So everything gets direct deposited in a Chase, and then once my savings gets to a certain amount, anything after that will start getting wired to Charles Schwab and go into investments. That's how I'm doing it all. So
Okay, nice. And they don't,
yeah.
you said there's no like foreign ATM fees. Was there any issue like fraud alert or anything like that when you made the move, or you just made sure to like call them and say, hey, I'm going to
The,
Vietnam, so don't be surprised if you
no,
start to
you
see.
no, you don't have to tell them. The one thing I did learn with traveling is like when you go to leave, like use your ATM or your debit card at your local airport, like so you're Toronto or wherever you're at, right?
Hmm.
And then whenever you get to where you're going, use it again, and it registers so that then they don't think it's a fraud alert because they see you're at this airport and they see you at this airport, and then they see you're doing whatever, right? So I started doing that, and I've never had issues with fraud alerts or any of that type of stuff. So, but yeah, since I've been here, I've never had a fraud alert or anything like that. I just got into the habit of doing that. Even if I just buy a bottle of water at the airport, you know, buy it, and then as soon as I land, you know, do something that registers like at the airport. So get off the plane, buy a bottle of water at the airport, or a fucking magnet or something at a gift shop, like whatever, right? So and then I've never had an issue. So, but yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Um, dude, it's almost 10 o'clock here, bro. I'm gonna wrap this up with you if it's cool with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I really appreciate you taking the time. I know the time
Yeah,
difference is crazy. We're 11
yeah,
hours different here, so um,
for sure.
thank,
Yeah,
thanks. It's a lot of great information, and you know, especially you know a source I can trust. I'll let you get to sleep, man. And again, thanks.
yeah,
I appreciate it.
absolutely, bro. We'll talk soon.
Talk soon. Have a good one.
All right.